What if Gandalf took the ring from Frodo? You've seen him ride on giant eagles. You've seen him fight 12-foot-tall monsters and get a new makeover. And you've seen him blow smoke in perfect circles while getting high. But now you're going to see Gandalf in his darkest mode yet. And it all happens because of this question. What if Gandalf had taken the ring from Frodo? You'll want to stay to the end of this one because the outcome will surprise you. So this change starts at the crucial scene in Bag End where Frodo offers the ring to Gandalf after he discovered that this was the Ring of Power and it was filled with dark magic. In the main canon, Gandalf shouts no. He stands up to his feet and a dark shadow grows behind him. In the book he says, "With that power I should have power too great and terrible, and over me the ring would gain a power still greater and more deadly. Do not tempt me, for I do not wish to become like the Dark Lord himself." It goes on for a while, but you get the gist. In the main timeline, Gandalf realizes the danger of him having the ring, and he asks Frodo to keep it safe, and then he leaves. Which is kind of weird, just leaving like that. I mean, you just told the guy he's carrying something really dangerous, and a lot of bad people are looking for it, and then you just leave him. Real supportive Gandalf. So let's say in this new timeline, Gandalf actually listens to Frodo and he takes the ring. In the books, Gandalf states that the way the ring worms into his heart is through weakness and his need for strength. Gandalf undoubtedly takes the ring and pockets it because at this point he's wary of it, and he only wishes to understand the best course of action on what to do with it. So he leaves Frodo in the Shire and he journeys to Rivendell, and the hobbits are not really going to be any part of the story anymore. So Gandalf meets up with Aragorn on his way to Rivendell. Another council is held, and they all unanimously decide that the ring should be destroyed in Mount Doom. Sadly, I don't think that Legolas, Gimli or Boromir are going to be part of the Fellowship anymore, since they arrive much later, and seeing as Gandalf leaves Frodo behind, he'd arrive at Rivendell so much sooner than the rest of them. So a new Fellowship goes to destroy the ring. I don't think Lord Elrond joins this time. It's most likely just Gandalf, Aragorn and some elves. Keep in mind here that Gandalf hasn't used the ring yet, but during his journey to Rivendell and the time he spent there, the ring will start to take a toll on him, though I don't think he succumbs just yet. Seeing as how the Fellowship hasn't learnt of Saruman's treachery, Gandalf probably learns that Saruman wants to speak to him, so the group journeys to Isengard. Gandalf speaks with Saruman alone. He learns of his treachery, and they get into a fight, just like in the main timeline. Seeing as how Saruman is overwhelmingly more powerful, Gandalf is forced to use the ring. Now when Gandalf uses the ring, it's not like when a hobbit or a human uses it. Remember, Gandalf is Maya. He is basically an angel. So his having the ring gives him an incredible rush of power, allowing him to defeat Saruman and most likely killing him. The rest of the group comes to find Saruman dead, and they have a bit of doubt, but Gandalf reassures them. So they exit Isengard. Now that Gandalf has used the One Ring, he develops a taste for the power. He develops a reliance on the ring, and so any obstacle that they face, he's going to want to use it. Enter the Nazgul, the cool black riders that are looking for the ring. They meet up with the new Fellowship, and Gandalf, who is enticed by the ring, uses it once more. Now Sauron originally controlled the Nazgul through the Ring of Power, and now that one of the Maya is wielding the ring, he has the power to control the Nazgul. So Gandalf controls the Nine with the ring, and they become his servants. Here Gandalf and the Fellowship travel to Rohan. He frees Theoden from Grima Wormtongue, and rallies the soldiers of Rohan against Mordor. He goes to Minas Tirith, and tries to convince Denethor to join the fight. Denethor would most likely refuse because he's a stubborn old man, which would mean Gandalf would subdue or kill him, and he and Aragorn would seize control of Gondor. Then they, and the warriors of Rohan, would go to war against Mordor. With the Nazgul on his side, Gandalf and his forces would easily defeat the orcs, and now Gandalf is face to face with Sauron. Now, Sauron sees that Gandalf has the One Ring, but Sauron cannot take physical form without having the power of the ring himself. That means he'd be unable to physically do anything to stop Gandalf here. So Gandalf would easily defeat Sauron, but I don't think he'd kill him, because Sauron can't really die if the ring still exists. It's kind of like a Horcrux in that way. Gandalf would probably use magic to render Sauron to cinders, making him so weak he's unable to form a consciousness for a long time. The armies of Gondor and Rohan are victorious, but at this point, Gandalf has fully fallen to the dark side. So Gandalf would become the de facto ruler of Middle-earth, and he rules in a way that he deems is right. It's most likely that Lord Elrond, Aragorn, and all the others would try to reason with him, urging him to destroy the ring, but Gandalf would refuse. Believing the ring to be the one thing that can maintain peace in Middle-earth, he may even end up killing guys like Elrond and Aragorn and anybody else who stands in his way. He turns the Nazgul into his enforcers, and they do his bidding throughout the realm. A rebellion would almost certainly begin to form, one that threatens Gandalf's rule, but he easily thwarts their efforts. Gandalf might not have been the strongest wizard, but he was the wisest of them. And now with the One Ring by his side, he's even more of a force to be reckoned with. He'd easily subdue any rebellion and eliminate any threat to his rule. And seeing that Gandalf is immortal, he remains the Dark Lord of Middle-earth for a very long time, until ultimately dooming the entire realm. The idea that Gandalf becomes the Dark Lord when he gets the One Ring is not one I came up with myself. In fact, Tolkien explicitly confirms this in Letter 246, where he says, Gandalf as Ring Lord would have been far worse than Sauron. He would have remained righteous, but self-righteous. He would have continued to rule and order things for good, and the benefit of his subjects according to his wisdom, which was and would have remained great. Yes, Gandalf would have believed that all of his action was for the greater good, but it would be for his version of good. A good heavily influenced by the devices of the One Ring. And speaking of Dark Lords and corrupting good guys, what would happen if Harry Potter had joined forces with Voldemort at the end of the Philosopher's Stone? How would that change the Harry Potter series? Well, I broke it down in this video here, which you will want to watch next.